housing crisis from 2013 to 2025 and why past ministers of the housing department have failed. Every month when he was housing minister, Owen Murphy had to face the media to talk about the spiralling numbers of homeless people in Ireland. And it's still spiralling so many years later. As the beleaguered minister made his way down the good staircase at government buildings to announce the inevitability, grim news, a cabinet colleague muttered the words of the playwright Samuel Beckett in his ear. No matter, try again, and fail better. That's perhaps the best a politician in this role could hope for. Ireland has had a chronic housing crisis for well over a decade at this stage. And half a dozen ministers have had to grapple with an apparently intractable problem. Too many people have nowhere to live at a reasonable price if they have anywhere to live at all, and the population is increasing daily, guys, not weekly, daily. The Department of Health used to be the place where political reputations went to die. But is it being replaced by housing? On targets are missed and homes remain unaffordable for an entire generation of young people. Lorcan Sor, who is a lecturer in housing at TU Dublin, says they all went into the job as relatively blank sheets, but they managed to do very little. That's in relation to the past 6 ministers. The problems are getting worse, and every successive minister, they will boast that housing output has gone up. The homelessness has gone up with the same trajectory. They are trying to control a housing market as opposed by a housing system. The state can't control the market. The sooner they get this into their heads, all the better. Another seasoned housing analyst, who asked not to be named, paints a picture of ministers who become overly influenced, and here's where the problem is, overly influenced by senior civil servants who are naturally wedded to caution. All of the ministers come in with the best of intentions, wanting to make their mark, and the first weeks they reach out to talk to everyone. But then effectively you never see these people again, says the analyst. They are captured by the department, and the department genuinely doesn't think the housing crisis is as bad as people think it is. So it's top civil servants where the finger can be pointed to, guys, for Ireland's housing problem. Housing labelled an emergency back in 2013 by John O'Sullivan. Back in 2013, John O'Sullivan, the Limerick TD, was junior minister in a Fine Gael Labour government when she promised to end homelessness by 2016. The year of the centenary of the 1916 Rising. It would have been a fitting tribute to Pearse and Connolly if it had ever happened. At the time, the post did not have the seniority of a cabinet position for housing, but O'Sullivan attended cabinet meetings. O'Sullivan attended cabinet meetings by Enda Kenny's government as a super junior. She was not the last politician to make promises about housing. that were never fulfilled, but in fairness she had left the ministry only a year after the promise was made. As Jan O'Sullivan did at least recognise the emerging gravity of the situation back in 2013, suggesting homelessness is an affront to every value that we assign to the concept of citizenship. In a real republic, there is an onus on everyone to ensure that all citizens have a place they can call home. A report from Jan O'Sullivan's department back in May 2014 described the situation as an extreme crisis. And she told the Irish Times it's going to get worse unless we do things. Which it has, guys. By the summer of that year, when she was promoted to Education Minister, there were, listen to this, guys, 3,258 people in emergency accommodation, including 749 children. Now there are 16,614 people in emergency accommodation, including over 5,238 children. But that's not taken into consideration the 20-odd thousand hidden homeless that's around the country also. So your total homelessness in Ireland is in excess of 40,000 homeless altogether. Home construction during Jan O'Sullivan's period in office was as low as 5,000 per year, and there was perhaps a greater focus on oversupply in some areas, particularly in towns and villages with ghost estates. But the economist Ronan Lyons recalls noticing a shortage of rental accommodation already in cities emerging back in 2013-2014. And he wrote in one of his regular reports for Daft.ie in 2013, with the pull of cities stronger in the crash, the government needs to start planning now for building the new homes the cities will need over the coming decades. Alan Kelly and rapid build. That wasn't so rapid. Housing was given greater priority when the Tipperary TD, Alan Kelly, dubbed AK-47, was appointed Environment Minister. He was given overall responsibility for housing. Already by then, there were 90,000 people on the social housing waiting list. And Allen and Kelly reaffirmed the commitment to end homelessness in the short space of 1 year, which wasn't possible, guys. This time, by the end of 2016, this problem was unfulfilled. In the first day of the major reports of the housing crisis, Kelly launched the first of the big plans, which was the social housing strategy, promising 35,000 social homes by 2020, a target that has never been met to this day. He also pledged to clear waiting lists for social housing by 2020. During Kelly's term, there was a focus on rapid build homes, with the minister boasting that his scheme produced the fastest houses ever built in the history of Ireland. All these ministers for housing folks have been, since 2013-2014, is spoofing just for publicity before elections, just to get back into their positions again. They are about as useful now as an ashtray at a motorbike. Towards the end of Alan Kelly's reign, he hosted a housing summit, but complained that not all the levers were in the Department of Environment for dealing with the crisis. He also complained of NIMBYism, with opposing politicians calling for urgent action, but them objecting to new housing schemes. Now, Alan Kelly's replacement, and this man has disappeared in a while, but you'll never forget him. Simon Coveney tries to rebuild Ireland. This was the second big plan. It included an aspiration to build 25,000 homes annually by the year 2020. Although the number of houses built did increase, targets were eventually missed. The minister bravely set July 2017 as the date for hotels to no longer be used as temporary residence for families without homes. Yeah, guys, they knew what was coming in 2020. They knew what was coming in 2021, 2022, 2023. Because who occupies most of the country's hotels nowadays? Only immigrants, majority of which are non-EU immigrants. In Coveney's memoir of his period running from office, Coveney's successor, Owen Murphy, was critical of rebuilding Ireland. It made the cardinal mistake of over-promising and under-delivering, like getting children out of hotels within a year. One housing analyst says of Coveney's relatively short year in housing, he wanted to show that he understood the issues, but he didn't listen as much as he could have. Larkin Sir, the lecturer in TU Dublin, says Coveney suffered from a bit of hubris and probably thought he was more capable than he was. Or maybe he was a bit naive and thinking that he would get more done than he did. Coveney initiated the introduction of strategic housing development. This was a supposedly fast-track system aimed at pushing through big projects at speed by bypassing local authority planning rules, but it mostly turned out to be a flop. Many of the schemes were bogged down in litigation, and the SHDs eventually scrapped. After Coveney's stint in housing, Coveney moved to Foreign Affairs in 2017 to face the simpler matter of sorting out Brexit. Right, guys, that's 3 in reference to the 3 of the 6 past housing ministers. What have they done? You know what they have done, because this video started out with 2013. It's now 2025. What we are going to do here is consider this video as part 1. I will return with the other 3 housing ministers, which will be posted in the comment section attached to this video sometime later today or tomorrow. Okay, guys, so we're done with this video for now. Another video will be done on the 3 housing ministers over the past few years and what they have done and what they obviously didn't do, and I will post it in the comment section. Okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.